Hello, welcome to another Year of Beer vlog. This is a little bit early to be opening a summer beer. The summer beer we've got here we'll talk about a little bit in a minute. But it's actually kind of a response to the news that Anchor Brewing have been bought by Griffin, Keith Gregor and Tony Foglio, the guys who were behind the Sky vodka brand in the 90s. They've just put some money into Brewdog as well. And so at the moment, like the blogosphere and the internet is kind of alive with a lot of people saying, it's a bad thing. And, the thing is, people generally don't like change, although, the interesting thing is that with beer, there's a lot of kind of, what's new, what's now, what's happening, what's the next best thing. But when like an institution changes, when something about the ownership or the makeup changes, people get very upset about that. And I find that a little bit, those two ideas are a bit difficult to kind of reconcile with one another. I mean, the good news is that Fritz Maytag is kind of staying on the board of Anchor, and it's my belief that he's done a pretty good, he's put in 42 years there, and has done an amazing job turning Anchor into kind of a national and a global icon, really. They're kind of the Anchor Brewery. I've gone into print saying this, and it's something that I believe Anchor Brewery are kind of the founding fathers of the American craft brewing scene. You can agree or disagree with that if you like, and if you disagree, I'd like to hear your take on that. But anyway, just as a little commemorative thing, just to sort of mark the change of ownership, I'm lucky enough to have a bottle of Anchor Humming Ale. Now, Humming Ale is their kind of, I think it's a new summer seasonal for them. I was lucky enough to get a bottle of this. I think there's only 6 of these in Europe. Rick Campen at Beer & Co was kind enough to send me one of these from the Netherlands. So I'm kind of quite excited. It's nice to have an excuse to open it. This was brewed and bottled about 8 months ago, but it's been under refrigeration since it arrived with me, so it should be fairly well preserved. It's a lovely kind of pale golden colour, really nice head of foam there, and it doesn't really have that. One of the things I like about Anchor is their use of traditional hop varieties, and so you always get a kind of really sort of traditional, slightly spicy, earthy note to their beers. This kind of has a little of that, but it's also, I think this is brewed using Nelson Sauvin hops, and so you also get a little bit of that kind of the fresh tropical fruit note. And that's on the palate again. You get that lovely kind of earthy Anchor quality, a little bit of kind of pale malt sweetness, and then the bitterness on this is really big. Actually, it's much bigger than any of other Anchor beers, any of Anchor's other beers that I remember. Anchor Steam, of course, is their sort of flagship beer, and then Liberty Ale is kind of their take on like an English pale ale with a bit more zip in its step, really. And this is their summer beer, and it's something else altogether again. It's pale, it's very drinkable. The bitterness is really big on it. It's kind of, maybe it's a little bit of a venture for them into doing something a bit bigger and a bit more kind of modern styled. But it's a really nice blend of the traditional Anchor hallmark, like the earthy, spicy qualities, and then the big, slightly exaggerated characteristics that you tend to find in a lot of American and indeed English sort of new wave craft beers, English and Italian, and all across Europe and all across the world, people are brewing beers in this kind of style. So that's it really. That was really just an excuse to open this bottle of Humming Ale that I've been storing in a fridge for about 6 months. I'm going to raise a glass to the last 42 years of Anchor Brewing success, and I hope they have many more under their new stewardship. So Fritz, Mr. Maytag, here's to you. Cheers.